Today we are going to be going through numbers 26 through 46. If you get something wrong on your review sheet, please erase it and fix it. Remember, what you're doing right now is you are helping yourself to have good study notes to help you to study for your exam that's coming up next week. The first thing we're going to go ahead and do today is number 26. For this one, it's asking us to find the sum. Are we happy or sad when there is a plus in front of it? We are happy, okay? That's a good thing. It makes it the easiest because if it's a positive, there's no negative that I need to distribute to everything on the inside of the parentheses. So is there any point in me having these parentheses right here? No, there is not. My goal is to get rid of the parentheses. So I can just let those go away and I will drop down everything that's on the inside of them. Now, once again, as I just said, we are very happy whenever there's a plus there because I can just drop the plus down and then I no longer need the parentheses that come after it. And I can drop everything else down that is inside the parentheses. Now, there's one thing we don't like here. We don't like having double signs side by side. When there's a plus, a minus, who always wins? Minus always wins. So this can basically go away. Now at this point, I want to see that you have underlined and circled the like terms. If you forgot to do this in your notes, make sure that you're rewriting it without the parentheses and you're underlining and circling the like terms. What else is like negative 8y? Good job. That's the y family. And then we have the constants, the numbers that stand alone. I should also circle what else? Positive 6, okay? And remember that little saying, every number has a sign, and that sign is directly in front of that number. So you're wanting to underline and circle with the signs also. First things first, Braden, we're going to combine the variable term, or the y family. What is negative 8y minus 2y? Okay, now think about it. Same sign, add and keep. So you're going to add the numbers and keep the sign. So what should it be? Negative 10, and it's the y family. All right, let's go on to the next one. Negative 5 and positive 6. Angeline, do I have the same sign or a different sign? Because it's a different sign, what do I need to do? Same sign, add and keep, different sign, subtract and take. So what do you get? Positive 1. Very good. So we're going to add 1. The correct answer is negative 10y plus 1. 2 thumbs up if you got that correct. All right, once again, if you did not, and if your work doesn't look like mine, please erase it and fix it. Let's move on to the next one. Noah, do I need the parentheses around negative 3x plus 10? No. No, I do not, so I'm going to drop it down without the parentheses. Class, are we happy or sad when there's a positive on the outside? Happy. We're happy because it means I can just drop down the positive and drop down everything else that is inside, and I don't need the parentheses anymore. Talila, who wins out of plus minus? Negative. The negative always wins, so I can get rid of that. Einar, would you please underline and circle for me? Very good. Very good. Amira, what's negative 3x minus 6x? Okay, why is it a positive 9x? All right, that's if you're multiplying. Remember, when you're adding or subtracting, same sign, add and keep. We're going to add the numbers and keep the sign. So what should it be? Negative 9x. And Jalen, what happens to the positive 10 and the minus 10? It turns into a 0 because a number and its opposite always equals 0. So should I put plus 0? No, you can just leave it off, and our final answer is what, guys? Negative 9x. These next two problems, 28 and 29, are probably the two most commonly missed problems. I want you to compare your answers with someone sitting next to you to see if you guys got the same answer or a different answer. All right, as I just took the poll, it sounds like a lot of us got different answers. So, first things first, do I need the parentheses around the first one? No, I do not. All right, so I can drop it down, 6x minus 2.5. Are we happy or sad when there's a negative on the outside? Sad. We're sad. We would much rather that be a plus. So I have given you permission to change that to a plus, but it's under very strict rules. what has to happen to everything else on the inside of the parentheses? You change it to the opposite, okay? So instead of a negative 3x, what will I turn it to? Positive 3x. Okay, we're changing it to the opposite. Instead of positive 4.1, I would have negative 4.1. How many of you would say, oops, that's where you know you made the mistake? That's okay. Simple mistake that a lot of people make, all right? Now, this is interesting. I have a plus plus. What does that mean? It just means you're adding it together. You're adding a positive, okay? So really, you could get rid of one of those pluses because you don't really need it there. All right, at this time, let's circle and underline the like terms. Gavin, what should I underline? Okay, so remember with these ones, we're going to want to circle the negatives in with it also because every number has a sign and the sign's directly in front of that number, okay? Noah, what's 6x plus 3x? 9x. Positive 9x, very good. The next one, Hope, do I have the same sign or the different sign for my constants? Same sign, so we've got to add the numbers and keep the sign. When you add those together, Hope, what do you get? 6.6. Then is that going to be a positive or a negative 6.6? Negative. So the correct answer is 9x minus 6.6. All right. How many of you would say you got 28 correct? Okay. Only 3 people out of the whole class. So really make sure that you've got this written in for your notes. You want it to be a good study guide for you to know how to do this kind of a problem when your midterm comes up next week. Now you might see what you did wrong on number 29. Let's look at the next one. Hayden, do I need the parentheses on the outside? Nope, not on the first one. So I'm going to let them disappear and drop down everything on the inside. Isaac, what should I do because there's a negative on the outside? Okay, we're going to change it to a positive, but what do I have to do to everything else on the inside? Okay, so this positive 9y is going to become not a plus.
It's just 9y.
Nope, it is a positive right now, so we need to make it the opposite, which would be negative 9y. And then you can see there's a positive 6. Isaac, what will I make that? A negative 6. Notice once again, all I've done is change the sign of both the things in that parentheses. Ava, what should I circle and underline?
Negative 2y, underline, and negative 9y.
And what should I circle?
Negative 4 and negative 6.
Very good. Okay. I know we didn't talk about this, but we know out of those two, the negative always wins, so we're pretending that positive's not there. Okay. Brayden, negative 2y minus 9y, what does that equal?
7y.
Same sign or different sign? Same sign. Add the numbers, keep the sign. What do you get? Negative 11y. Matthew, negative 4 minus 6? Same sign or different sign? It's a negative 4 and a negative 6. There you go. It's the same sign. We're going to add the numbers and keep the sign, okay? So listen, I know that we've done these rules a long time ago, but remind me about when we were adding and subtracting. What do? Same sign, add and keep, different sign, subtract. Take the sign of the larger number, then you'll be exact. Okay, so remember that rule. That's something I think a lot of us are starting to forget. Numbers 30 and 31, it says to simplify using the distributive property. Remember, distributive property is used whenever there is a number that's stuck outside the parentheses that I need to distribute to everything on the inside. So the negative 3 will have to be multiplied by the first term and by the second term. Matthew, what's negative 3 times positive 2y? Negative 6y. Jalen, what is negative 3 times negative 3? Okay, if you have two negatives multiplied together, the answer is always positive. So we would have a positive 9. For the next one, as I look inside of these parentheses right here, is there anything that's in the same family that I can combine? Very good. The y family. I can combine those two, and that would make it easier so I don't have to distribute the negative 4 3 times. I would just have to distribute it twice. So guys, what's 5y minus 3y? Guys, 5 minus 3. 2y plus 2. Okay, Talila, help me. How do I distribute this? Okay, what is negative 4 times positive 2y? Negative 8y, very good. And then we have one more. We've got to do this negative 4 and multiply it times the positive 2. And what do you get for that? Negative 8. Okay, if you didn't get that correct, that's okay. Erase it and fix it. All right, so you will see for this next part right here, from here until the end of our review sheet, you are allowed to use your calculator, okay? So at the actual midterm, it'll be a two-part. The first part, you may not use a calculator. That's like numbers 1 through 31. And now from 32 till the end, we are practicing with calculators, which means you'll be able to use a calculator on your midterm. So let's look at the first one. Solve the equation and check your solution. Our goal for this kind of a problem is to get the variable by itself. What's not allowing W to be alone?
Plus 1.3.
Okay, add by 1.4. Huang, how do I get that by itself? Correct, and we're going to be fair. We've got to do it to both sides. Drop down your equal sign. We know on the right side, both of those cancel each other out, and you're left with just a W. Over here, guys, same sign or different sign? Same sign, add and keep. So we're going to add the numbers and keep the sign. What do you get? All right, I didn't have many people commenting on that. How many of you accidentally subtracted? That's okay. Look, it's the same sign. You want to add them and keep the sign. Now remember, we like to have our W on the left side, so we'll just switch it up. W equals negative 11.6. And that's my answer. Now it told us to do one more thing. It also says to what?
Check it.
Check your solution. Who would say you accidentally forgot to check it? All right, we're going to do it now because once again, you're going to need to do that for the midterm. So make sure you're always following those instructions really carefully. Remember, in order to check it, we are taking the original problem and rewriting it below. So negative 10.2 equals, and the original problem said W plus 1.4. Do we know what W is? Yes, so we're actually going to get rid of that W and instead we'll plug in negative 11.6. Just like always, drop down your equal sign. We know the left side is negative 10.2. Focusing on the right side, same sign or different sign? Same sign, add and keep, different sign? Subtract, okay? So we're going to be subtracting 11.6 minus 1.4. When you subtract that, what do you get? 10.2 and take the sign of the larger number, which was a negative, okay? So is this true? Does negative 10.2 equal negative 10.2? Yes. Give yourself a mini check mark. All right, the next one, Jalen. What is not allowing the x to be alone? What about the 10? Divide by 10. How would I get rid of divide by 10? Multiply by 10. And what we do to one side, we got to be fair and do it to the other side. So, Jalen, when you do that, what do you get? Okay, now you have a negative multiplied by a positive. There's only one negative, so should your answer be positive or negative? If it's an odd number of negative signs, your answer is always a negative. Okay, so the correct answer should be negative 30. Go ahead and box that in. Now remember, we're going to take that original problem and rewrite it. X over 10 equals negative 3. Jalen, what should I plug in for my x? Negative 30. So I'm going to stick a negative 30 right there. And Jalen, what is negative 30 divided by 10? What's negative 30 divided by 10? Not 10. Okay, if you have a negative divided by a positive, you know your answer is going to be negative. And what is 30 divided by 10? 3. Drop down the other negative 3. Jalen, does negative 3 equal negative 3? Yes. Give yourself a mini check mark because it did check out. Next one, Einar, 5m equals negative 10. What should I do? Divide each side by 5, and what do you get?
M equals -2.
Excellent. How do I check that? We just did 2 examples just like it. So how did we check the last 2? So thank you, Reese. We do have to rewrite the original problem. Okay, but we know instead of saying multiply by m, we know what m is, so we're going to multiply by -2. Okay, and then -10 does equal -10. Give yourself a mini check mark. On to the next one. Write the word sentence as an equation. Noah, the sum of a number m and -2 is 7. What you got?
I put m plus -2 equals 7.
You are correct. Okay, so for this, the key thing you got to know, sum means to add something together. Very good. Let's go to the next one. Isaac, a number minus 12 equals 26. What did you write?
Okay. X equals 12. Oh wait. X minus 12 equals 26.
Very good. And the next one, Angeline, a number divided by 11 is 5. Very good. She says x over 11. Remember, we always want to put x over 11 instead of x divided by 11. Okay, so let's not do it this way, but instead, exactly as she did it, we want to do x over 11 equals 5. Very good job. Any questions on how to make something into an equation? Okay, that should be one of the easiest parts of your midterm. Let's keep going. Solve this 2-step equation. For this, we have 2 people that are best friends. Who's the best friends in problem 38? 4A. So we're going to put a heart around them that helps us to remember leave it alone until the end. Okay, Gavin, what do I need to do to get A by itself? Gavin. That's okay. We're not going to divide 4 yet because that's the best friend. -3. Okay, so we're going to subtract 3 on both sides. And then you're left with 12 equals 4A. Gavin, keep going. What should I do? Good job. Now we're going to divide by 4 on both sides. And what do you get? 3 equals A. And we always like the A to be first, so we're just going to switch it around. A equals 3. Now, this did not ask us to check it, but you can always go back and check it if you want to plug that in. What is 4 times 3? 12. And then you would add 3 more. What do you get? 15, and that is what we wanted over there, okay? So you are still allowed to check it, even if the instructions don't tell you to do so. Let's go on to the next one. Hope, who's the best friends in this problem? X over 8. So I'm going to put a heart there to remind myself, leave the 8 there as long as I possibly can. Hope, keep going. What should I do?
Subtract by 5 on both sides.
Okay, we're not going to subtract by 5. We want to do the opposite of -5, which would be add by 5. Okay, so we're adding 5 to both sides. Hayden, what are you left with?
X over 8 equals 1.
You are correct. Okay, Talila, what should I do next? What's not allowing x to be alone? Divide by 8. So how do I get rid of divide by 8? Multiply by 8 on both sides, and what do you get? X equals 64. That is correct. And once again, you could plug back in. Up here, 64 divided by 8 is 8. Minus 5 does in fact equal 3, which is what we wanted it to equal. You have $475 in your bank account. You earn some money on a weekend mowing yards, and you deposit that money into your account. You decide to buy a new television for $400, and now you have $350 left in your bank account. How much money did you earn mowing yards? You must show an equation. So as I glance through a lot of yours, you just put an answer. You cannot just put an answer. You've got to actually show work, and here it told us we have to show an equation. So let's do an equation together. First off, how much did you start off with in your bank account? $475. Then it says you earn some money. Does it tell us how much you earned? Not yet. If we are earning, is that adding it or subtracting it? Adding it. We are adding a mystery amount, so we're just going to say plus X. All right, next up, you deposit that money into your account, and Einar, how much did you buy your new television for? $400. So Jalen, should I add or subtract that $400? Okay, if you're buying something, why would you add money to yourself? You are subtracting, right? You got to pay attention, okay? We're subtracting money because we're giving it away to purchase something. Now it tells us in the end how much money we have left in our bank account. How much was that? We have $350 left in our bank account. On the left side, is there anything that I can combine that is like terms? You are correct. There's two constants that are there, 475 and negative 400. The x is kind of there by himself, okay? So I'll circle that one. What should I drop down first, my variable term or my constants? We always want our variable term to be first. Then let's focus on what we've underlined. Class, what's 475 minus 400? $75. And we know that that equals $350. Remember, you have to be showing an equation. So if your notes didn't look like this already, you should be erasing it and fixing it, okay? How do I get x by itself? Add by $75 on both sides. Okay, hold on, I wasn't looking at this real closely. Guys, what is 475 minus 400? 75. So should this be a minus or should that be a plus? It should have been a plus, okay? So we messed up on that one. All right, we should have been adding 75. So in order to get rid of positive 75, now we should be subtracting 75. Sorry about that, okay? So now on the left side, we're left with x equals, Talila, what's 350 minus 75? $275. So then in the end, when it asks you, how much money did you earn from mowing yards? You earned $275. Write the word sentence as an inequality. Remember, an inequality simply means we're going to have a greater than or a less than type symbol in there, okay? Who would like to do the first one for me? Noah, it says a number r minus 6 is at least 3.5. What'd you put?
I put r minus 6 is at least, which is like pointing to the 35. And then
What symbol is it if I'm saying at least? Greater than or less than?
For which side? For the 30?
You tell me. What symbol did you write?
Greater than or equal to?
Okay, greater than or equal to 3.5. Okay, so let's see if this is correct. Our key words here are at least. Now this is something that you could memorize the symbol or you could try to reason through it. If it says it has to be at least 3.5, could it be exactly 3.5?
Yes.
Yes, it could. So that's why he has the equal sign there. If it could be at least 3.5, is it allowed to be less than 3.5? No, which means it has to be greater than. So you are correct. Very good job on that one. All right, who feels comfortable and would like to do the next one for us? Talila, twice a number y plus 4 is less than 12. What'd you put? Well, if you look right here, it says to write is less than. So what did you write? What did you say? Okay, less than 12. There's only one thing that I would change. Do you know what that is? A what? The y, okay? Because here's what it says. Twice a number y. So how do I write twice a number y, class? 2y. So we've got to have 2 times y. So anytime it says twice a number, you're always going to double the y. Okay? Anyone like to do the next one for me, number 43? Let me have Ava. Twice a number x is at most negative 25. Okay, let's check this out. So the first part, she said twice a number x 2x. That is correct. That's exactly how we want to do that. The next thing I want us to focus on is this part over here, negative 25. Notice she put negative 25, so that's good. The last thing that we want to focus on here is at most and the symbol that we have here. If it says something is at most negative 25, could it equal exactly negative 25? Yes, it could. The most it could be is negative 25. Now my next question is, if it says that's the most it can be, can anything be greater than that? No. So should I have a greater than sign? No. What should I have instead? Instead, we want to have a less than sign right there. Does that make sense, Ava? Okay. Any questions for her on that one? Let's go to the next one. Who would like to do 44 for me? Gavin, it says the quotient of a number m and 8 is less than or equal to 4. What'd you put? You are correct. Okay, notice once again, he understood that the word quotient means to divide. M over 8 is less than or equal to 4. Excellent job. How many of you feel pretty comfortable with those inequalities? Okay, that was 4 examples. Sometimes the trickiest words are those ones that say at least or at most. Once again, you can memorize it or just try to reason it in your head. All right, for the final 2 problems today, we've got number 45 and 46 where it says to write an inequality that would represent the situation. We're always going to start with our variable. What variable will we write, class? X. The next thing you're going to do is put the number that's in the middle. What number is in the middle? 18. Now the hardest part is to figure out the inequality symbol. Notice the arrow is going that way. Is that way bigger or smaller than 18? Those are all bigger, okay? And then notice this right here. Is this an open or a closed circle? Closed. So if it's a closed circle, should I have the equal sign or not have the equal sign? We need to have the equal sign. So what symbol should go there in the middle? Greater than or equal to. Excellent work. All right, final problem. Always start with the variable or the x. Then put your number, which is negative 6. Notice the arrow is going this way. Are all of those numbers greater than or less than negative 6? They are all less than. And this is what? An open or a closed circle? Open. So do I want the equal sign? I do not want the equal sign. So my final answer is x is less than negative 6. All right? That's all we're going to go through today. Tomorrow or on Monday, we will go ahead and focus on the last part of your midterm review sheet.